Are you ready? It is your time to take a few moments from your busy day to unwind, be inspired, and listen to the psychic insights of your host, empowerment psychic, Halley, Elise, a top 100 psychic, speaker, and author. Off air, be sure to connect with Halley at halleyelise.com. And now, the Halley Elise Show.
Welcome, everyone, for tuning in. I'm glad to be a little bit more situated now. If you've been looking and going, wait, I'm confused. You were on one day, at one time, another day. The station just found it more plausible for me to be on Friday nights. They figured drive time was great because of the numbers of people that were interested, and it seemed to make sense. I said, okay, let's do it. So here we are. This evening, we do have a guest on air, but before I welcome our guest, I'd like to say thank you truly to everyone who came out for the Psychic Gallery this past Wednesday. It was amazing. We had a full house again, as we did with the last gallery, and because of it being holiday season, I always give out extra goodies. We had a grab bag, we had door prizes, we had extra prizes. I made sure to put little goodies on everybody's seat. I think everybody had a fabulous time. I've gotten some lovely, lovely responses, but I want to say thank you to you, because without you, having an event like that is successful doesn't happen. That said, keep in mind the next gallery is 4 months from now. And instead of doing the Psychic Gallery every month, as I had done for years and years, it's now 3 times a year. If you have any questions, you can always give me a call, or you can go online to halleyelise.com, or check out Facebook, or let's see, Instagram, LinkedIn. I think we have all the main bases covered. Now, without further ado, the gentleman who's coming on air this evening has been working for more than 25 years on energy, and not just energy, but energy healing, working with scalar energy. And from what I understand, this particular process helps you to eliminate pathogens. So, Thomas Palladino, welcome.
Pleasure to be here.
Glad to have you. Tell us a little bit about what exactly scalar energy is. I was under the impression, I had heard some time ago, that it had something to do with Tesla or Tesla's work. Is that accurate?
That's correct. Everybody's familiar with scalar energy. It's sunlight or starlight. And what Tesla discovered is that there's another energy spectrum than that of electricity. So scalar energy, Tesla energy, is simply stated from the sun and the stars, but it's a much more subtle energy and a much more versatile energy than that of electricity.
All right. So when we think of electricity, we have to connect to something physical to have that current work for us. You do distance healing with this energy. How is that possible? Because you're saying everybody's familiar with it. I'm afraid I have a difference of opinion here. Not everybody really is familiar with the idea of scalar energy or the dynamics of it. So perhaps you can share a bit.
Sure. I do perform distance healing, and this is one of the characteristics of scalar energy. It transcends time and space. So if I wanted to perform a healing for somebody, it doesn't matter where their location is. I have scalar energy instruments that can make an instantaneous connection, an instantaneous communication with anybody in the world. This is one of the features, one of the wonderments, if you will, of scalar energy. It transcends time and space.
So would you say that scalar energy is in alignment with quantum physics?
Yes, it is. It is.
So we're going into a quantum field, correct?
Yes, indeed. Yes, we're entering into that realm of quantum energy. It's an information system, or what some people might call chi or consciousness or prana.
Right, life energy.
Yes, exactly.
Now, you say you have devices that you use so that you can target specific places or people to help. How does that work?
Yes. I have developed scalar energy instruments, and these instruments can find anybody in the world by way of a photograph. Now, it's a novel concept, but when you consider that everything in the world universe is interconnected, and that the universe is holographic, that lends itself to this quantum notion. That is, everything that is in the universe has a pre-connection. And a scalar energy instrument simply works within that framework.
Okay.
And in so doing, you can treat anybody in the world by way of their photograph.
Now, let's say somebody says to you, I've got this injury on my knee. The doctor says it's going to be 12 weeks to heal. Can the scalar energy help me?
Yes. Let's say you have as you said, an injury, some type of a physical trauma to your knee.
Mm-hmm.
What I've developed with my instruments is the ability of these instruments to assemble nutrients. We can actually assemble vitamins and antioxidants and amino acids throughout the body. So that would accelerate the healing curve, if you will, for any type of physical trauma.
Can you elaborate a little bit in respect to talking about assembling these nutrients? Because it almost sounds as if you're taking something just out of the air and having it somehow transmute and move into a different space. And when we deal with the quantum field, that makes sense and there's a lot of relevance. But dealing with a physical realm, when somebody says, my knee hurts, I injured it in a fall, and there's tissue damage, how is it that they can understand better that these nutrients are received?
Sure. Well, let's once again look at scalar energy as a quantum energy and a informational energy. Now, I can instruct the existing elements in the body to rearrange, to transmute into a vitamin. For instance, everybody has carbon and calcium, hydrogen, oxygen, phosphorus in their body. Those are the building blocks of the human body.
Yes.
I simply can instruct those building blocks, what pre-exists in the body, to rearrange into a vitamin or to rearrange into a mineral or an antioxidant. So the proper verb is transmute. We can change one physical form into another. And this is what I've discovered with scalar energy. We have mastery over physical forms.
Right. And there's a lot of work in the field of discovery when it comes to that. For instance, epigenetics I've spoken about on the show before, and the idea that, again, working with the quantum field, we can make changes. I guess what I'm trying to get to here is, how is it that you manipulate the system through your devices for this end result as the transmutation? What is your process that you go through? And I'm not asking you to give away your secrets, but I am asking for a little bit more edification about how this works.
Sure. Let's say I wanted to assemble vitamin C inside the human body.
Okay.
I use magnified photographs of vitamins or minerals. So I would take a magnified photograph of vitamin C and place it inside my instrument. Now, with that photograph of vitamin C, that serves as the informational input for my instrument then to assemble vitamin C, the actual molecular structure of vitamin C inside a person.
Right. Fascinating.
Yeah.
Now, the information that you have on LinkedIn talks about taking care of certain pathogens such as herpes. How is it that you can explain, again, this transmutation taking place when we have physicians that are saying they can't necessarily heal this, they can just abate the situation?
Sure. Keep in mind that energy is fundamental. So when I'm working with scalar energy, I have fundamental control over molecular forms. So the process that I have developed allows me to break down the molecular structure of the herpes virus. Now, you only can do this with energy, whereas a drug works, if you will, obliquely, so to speak, as in stark contrast to scalar energy, which has command, which has mastery over physical forms. So I will attest that what I've developed is the easy way to break down the molecular forms of herpes virus, rid the body of that virus, transmute the virus into smaller pieces, and essentially people are cured of herpes.
Okay. Now, all of this is wonderful and exciting. How is it that you came across this work? Because I know you've been working at this for more than 2 decades.
God has given me the wisdom. This is higher learning.
All right. So do you feel that you were born into this world with this knowledge, or at some point in your life something shifted and there was this awakening that this knowledge existed?
I believe this was my calling from birth, and it was augmented throughout my life. And the closer I get to God, the greater my understanding of this wisdom.
Perfect. And that makes a lot of sense because we know that when we meditate, we are connected to the divine. When we are in prayer, we are connected to the divine. And obviously, if we are to communicate with the divine and we have our own processes that we use, we can enhance whatever wisdom is being shared with us. I also know that you offer some sort of program or some sort of way for a person to experience the process.
Yes. I have a website, ScalarNet. It is freescalar.net, and that website allows anybody to experience 15 days of free treatments. I think it's expedient that I offer free treatments so that people can get their feet wet, so to speak.
Yes. Well, of course, people want to know what's going on before they make a big commitment to anything. Now, you said it's Freescalar, so that's FREESCALER?
LAR, Freescalar, SCALAR.
LAR, not LER. Okay.
Yeah, .net, freescalar.net.
Okay, great. Just want to make sure that we're clear so that the audience can take a look and see. Is there another way to take a look at what you're offering, or is that the only place that they can find you?
Our main website is scalarlight.com.
Now, that's light, L-I-G-H-T, not L-I-T-E, correct?
Correct. L-I-G-H-T, correct.
Okay, great. And where are you based out of? If someone was in the local vicinity, would they be able to come check out your facility, see your devices? Or do you offer any sort of, I guess, tour would be the correct word here, to take a look at what you're doing? Or do you put programs on so that groups can come and see in process what's taking place?
Sure. I live in Bradenton, Florida. If people are interested, they can get in touch with me. I'll provide a phone number. And for those who are serious-minded, sure, I would welcome them to take a look at my laboratory.
Okay, excellent. Now, you offer 15 days. What's involved in that 15-day process? Does somebody have to lay down at a particular time? Do they have to go into a space of meditation? What's their part of this?
Yeah, I simply ask people to pray for healing, to accompany the healing, but you don't have to change your lifestyle. This is what is so advantageous to scalar energy healing, distance healing. You don't have to change your diet. You don't have to change your lifestyle.
Now, do you have testimony from others who have transmuted illnesses and found that their life is more in their control that you could share?
Yes, we do. On our website, we have various diagnostic tests that prove that people have been cured of herpes, of Epstein-Barr, even of HIV. These are diagnostic tests known as a polymerase chain reaction test. They're accurate tests. And people are now discovering that with this modality, we can indeed eradicate viruses, and the diagnostic tests are substantiating that claim.
Okay. Now, I'll be candid. When we're on the radio, we cannot say that we cure anything because we are not medical professionals. However, if you have tests that show evidence of what existed before as well as what existed after, we will leave that up to the public to take a look and figure out how that works best for them.
Splendid.
Now, if somebody were to reach out to you and they were listening, but they didn't get the website, which is the best website to give to them again?
It would be scalarlight.com.
Okay, scalarlight.com. Thomas, thank you so much for being on this evening. I appreciate it, and I'm sure a lot of people will take a look at the site and get in touch.
Thank you. Good evening.
Thank you. Bye-bye. If you'd like to call in for a psychic reading, it's 888-565-1470. That's 888-565-1470. We are going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Thank you. This is your empowerment psychic, Halley, Elise, one of the top 100 psychics in America. For over 30 years, I have offered psychic readings, programs, spiritual guidance, and other life skill techniques. As our lives have become more complicated, we often reach for answers. Who are we? Where are we headed? Are we pointed in the right direction? In addition, we often are concerned for our loved ones. I have helped thousands of people navigate their life circumstances through different modalities of spiritual and intuitive guidance. Call me at 561-755-2166 and allow me to further explain how I may assist you in clearing the path of yesterday so today and tomorrow will be a success. Call me at 561-755-2166 or visit my site, HalleyElise.com. That's HalleyElise.com.
You have been listening to Empowerment Psychic Halley Elise, a top 100 psychic. She is your connection to all things spiritual, psychic, and empowering. Your guide to peace and wisdom. For a private appointment off air, call 561-755-2166. Now, back to the Halley Elise Show with Empowerment Psychic Halley Elise.
Welcome back. If you are just tuning in, we had Thomas Palladino on a little while ago, and he was sharing information about scalar energy. It's interesting because we know that there are so many different modalities for healing. And when it comes to energy work, it's not always what is seen, but is more a matter of what is felt. I work with several different modalities myself. My, if you will, go-to is reconnective healing energy, and that's with Dr. Eric Pearl. I shouldn't say with, but Dr. Eric Pearl facilitates and is one of the people who's really brought to light its power at healing. Most people are familiar with Reiki. Some people know about access bars. There are a multitude of modalities that can be used to help yourself. There's something to consider, though. Everybody is different. And I really believe that who we are as individuals, what our core essence is, defines how we relate to our environment, how we relate to healing. You can have three people go through the same process and have different results. The biggest thing that I find, though, that makes a huge impact is listening within and listening without. And what I mean by that is listening within to that true inner guidance that comes from the divine. Listening without has to do with where is your logical foundation, where is not necessarily proof, but your good feelings that help you get to that next place. So, for instance, if you go for a therapy and it makes you feel miserable, it may not be the right therapy for you. And I know there are some physical therapists and doctors that would disagree. They say, oh, no, you have to experience this to get to that next phase. And yet there are people that go through massive traumas and go through all different types of healing modalities, both Western medicine as well as Eastern medicine, or eclectic medicine, if you will, and respond differently because of who they are, because of how they are responding. I can tell you from my own experience when I dealt with Hodgkin's disease, I dealt with doctors, but I also dealt with a lot of holistic practitioners, a lot of spiritual practitioners. And I spent a lot of time by myself, just going into that quiet place, getting connected, understanding what was going on with me, what was the significance or the relevance of it in this moment of my life. And you don't always have to look back to get answers. You do have the capacity as an individual to connect with that higher knowing, no matter what's going on. It's more a matter of how comfortable you are. The other night at the Psychic Gallery, we did just a quick little exercise so that people could get centered, so that they could get in touch with that heart-based energy. And then I had the group pair up and do these little exercises to see what could they intuit, what could they pick up. And I would say, without over extending myself, that we had 90%, if not more, of the group that was able to accurately give information to the person that they were working with. What that tells me is everybody was having a good time, so they were in that joyous place, which raises your natural energy. And when they went into that quiet place, when we did our little meditative exercise, they were able to connect to that divine influence. It is not that it's never there. It's not that you have to reconnect. It is that there are moments when we're not paying attention. It doesn't matter how gifted you are. Think of it like this. We have authors that write magnificent works, an opus, and you find sometimes that they say they have a writer's block. Does that mean that the inspiration, that the wisdom, the creativity doesn't exist? No, it just simply means in that moment, they're not allowing it to flow. And when I say that they are not allowing it to flow, for whatever it is going on in their space, in their mind, in their life, in their environment, it has a direct corollary to what their output is. We all are affected by our loved ones, by the people we work with, by the food we eat, by the air we breathe. And it is not a matter of do we have abilities or do we have capabilities, but it is more a matter of are we in the right place within ourselves to hear it, to allow it, to recognize that we are connected. When you look at religion, there is always that talk about we are God's children, or we are the children of the goddess. Whatever terminology we want to use. If we want to say Buddha, if we want to use Hashem. Bottom line is that there's this interconnectedness. And yet, how often has an individual felt alone? How often can someone sit in a crowded room and feel as if something's just not right? If we are not in a space to feel connected, and that's why I said about that warm and fuzzy around us, then no matter what our gifts are, they tend to be hampered. A really good example is you could be one of those people that every single time something happens, you have this gut reaction. You just know. You just know that this is going in a particular direction. You feel it in your bones. And yet, if you feel that you're compromised by the people that are around you, you may have a gnawing feeling, but it may not come up in the same way that it usually does. That being said, really give some thought to, if you want to be the most on top of things that you can be, allow yourself to put yourself into places that lift your spirit, into scenarios that make you feel worthy, whether you are saying it to yourself that you are worthy or others are doing it for you. Because when you do that, you are truly aware of that divine connection that exists within as well as without. We're never really separate. We were talking earlier about quantum physics, and quantum physics actually goes so far beyond our physical as to what we see. And it talks about that idea of form being created supposedly out of nothing. And yet we know that everything has some sort of foundation. It started somewhere. For instance, an idea. You ever notice that you could think about something? Let's say you see, I have a silly little thing, a caddy that should go over the side of the couch so that you can put your beverage, that you can put your remote control, you could maybe put your newspaper or books or what have you. And you think, oh, it would be really great if there was this thing that you hang on this side of the sofa and I could put all my stuff in. So I don't need a table and it's not in the way and it's not cumbersome. And you kind of think about it, but you let it go. You don't really do anything with it. You just kind of have that thought pop into your head. Then not too long later, maybe 6 months, maybe a year down the line, you see an advertisement on TV for this caddy of sorts that goes over the sofa. And you go, that was my idea. It came from somewhere. What I mean is, if something pops into your consciousness, there's some sort of connective tissue there. And if you think about it, somebody else will think about it because we are all connected. And when we see somebody we don't like, and we go, look at that person, it's really good to ask ourselves, why is it we don't like them? And we could say, oh, well, they're mean, or they're ugly, or they're inappropriate. We can come up with reasons why, but that doesn't really explain our discomfort. If they are separate from us, why should their behavior or their appearance or their being disturb us at all? We should be able to just go, whatever, that's their stuff. I don't have to fix it. I don't have to look at it. I don't have to know about it. That's their stuff. But we don't. We can practice it. We can get to a place where we say, okay, I'm not going to allow somebody else's stuff to bother me. And that means that we maintain more of a level energy for ourselves. But it does take practice. And the reason, though, that we seem to be annoyed by other people and their poor behavior or inappropriate behavior or just different behavior is because there's something about them that reminds us about us. They tend to be a reflection. If you're thinking, oh, wait a minute, you're way off here. That guy over there doesn't even shower. It's disgusting. I am nothing like him. And there's no way that's a mirror for me. But it is a reminder that hygiene is important to you, and you will not be that person. We have to know contrasts. Abraham teachings, the Hicks, they talk about having contrast, meaning you have to know what doesn't fit, what isn't right, what doesn't look right, so that you do know what does. And the same thing is true when it comes to healing, when it comes to energy, when it really comes to our joy in our world. What is it that isn't good lets us know what is good, what to look for. And there are moments when we think, oh, no, I know exactly what it is that I want. And we could describe it to a T. And that thing or that person shows up in our world, and we go, yeah, you know what? Something's not right here. This part just isn't working. It gives us a point of reference, but it also allows us to dismiss what isn't working in our world. I want to remind you, this is the holiday season. I was going to see the lights yesterday with a friend, having a great time, and as we're going, somebody cut us off. And I just said, they're in a rush. I'm just going to be more careful. Think about this. You have the power and the ability to raise your vibration on a consistent level so that your life can be filled with more joy and that you can have more healing simply because you live in a better space. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Have a beautiful week, and I'll see you again next Friday. Good night.
Remember to tune in every Tuesday on WNN at 9 p.m. for more peace, inspiration, and psychic phenomena with empowerment psychic Halley, Elise, Top 100 Psychic. The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its hosts, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of the station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
This is Lee Habib for Our American Stories. It's a great way to cuddle up to the radio and hear fascinating stories about people you know and some pretty amazing stories about people you don't know.
Weekdays, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. on WNN.
Talk 1470 is